everybody. It's Wendy, and I'm back, and we are continuing on with our D.R.E.S.S modules. Diet, rest, exercise, stress, and supplements. So I am Wendy �𝐀𝐄𝐒. I am a CNC and an FDN and a National Board Certified colon therapist. I'm an ADAPT certified health coach. And again, I want to remind everybody this information is not medical advice, and it's not intended to replace the advice or attention of healthcare professionals. Consult your healthcare doctor before beginning or making changes to your diet or exercise program, or for diagnosis or treatment of illness. All right. So we're going to be talking about exercise today. This is the next one in the modules as we're discussing D.R.E.S.S for health success. So by now I hope that you've seen the first set of modules that I did on diet, and that's what I was covering, the 3 basic diet fails that trigger an inflammatory condition in the body. And we discussed how these types of food inflammers can actually create disease over time. We discussed those 3. If you'd like to go back, you can go back to the first set of 4 modules. The second set was on rest and sleep, and those were also 4 modules. Both of these are already uploaded to the the Paris Union School District site. I will be putting the link to that school website underneath these videos on YouTube on my channel, so you'll be able to go over there as well. So this next third set of modules we're doing right now is going to be on exercise and stress. So you can have a great diet, you can be getting rest, but you need to reduce your stress and have regular physical activity. So we're going to talk about exercise. E is for exercise, and it's any bodily activity that enhances or maintains physical fitness and overall health and wellness. It can be performed for various reasons: to aid growth, to improve strength, preventing aging, developing muscles, the cardiovascular system, honing athletic skills, weight loss or maintenance, improving health, and also for enjoyment. And there we are. There we are, us older ladies. Now, some of you could be watching in your men. Sorry, I should have put a male picture up there of that. So regular exercise has been found to help prevent many chronic diseases and health concerns, ranging from obesity to cardiovascular disease to type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cancer, osteoporosis, anxiety, depression, insomnia, dementia, Alzheimer's, risk of falls, and early death. We all know we should exercise. The real question for most of us is when. We're up before dawn to reach the work or office on time and ready to collapse when the sun goes down. I mean, it usually gets a little better for all of us once spring hits, because we got a little extra light at night, maybe to go for a walk. But a lot of us struggle with fitting in exercise. So we're going to talk about exercise in a little different way in these modules, and a different way of bringing them into our lives. Here's a little funny for you. Here's the doctor saying, what fits your busy schedule better, exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? And there we go. So in looking at exercise today, I'm looking at it differently, and I want to talk first of all from the standpoint of sitting. So the most common issue that we have today is that we are a nation of sitters. We sit at work and we sit during our leisure time. And with the advent of all of the social media and all the internet, we sit even more. Sitting has been shown to impair metabolic function, to decrease the activity of an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL, which is associated with higher triglycerides, lower levels of HDL, and an increase of cardiovascular disease. Sitting reduces insulin sensitivity and weakens bone density, and it may have harmful effects on our blood flow and increased damage to blood vessels. It also increases the risk of death from all causes, but particularly from cardiovascular disease, and it may impair cognitive function as we age. If you're just thinking of sitting, you're immobile, and your body's cells and everything is really just sitting static. So we really would like to change that, and here's a picture of somebody at work. We can also get that at home sitting on our computers, and we just get sore backs. We just got too many, physical problems now from the amount of sitting that we're all doing. So when we think about our ancestors and we think of all the people that came before us, they really didn't go to a gym to work out. So movement was a way of life. Humans had to exert themselves strenuously to survive. So you think of most people had to walk wherever they went, right? They didn't really have vehicles, or they had horses, whatever. There was just a lot more physical activity that had to be spent to do daily activities. Time was spent outdoors, walking, hunting, gathering. Even if you had a garden, you had to go out and gather the garden, and playing. So anthropological research suggests that our ancestors sprinted, jogged, climbed, carried, crouched, and jumped throughout a day. They also walked an average of 6 miles and ran half to 1 mile a day. Women were as active as men. They alternated between days of strenuous, demanding movement and days of rest. So we're going to bring in exercise today in a little bit of a different way that I want to highlight. Instead of talking about going more to the gym and doing things, let's talk about swapping. So this is an acronym, and it stands for standing, walking, and pushing. So Chris Kresser and Dan Party like to use this acronym SWAP. And we're going to discuss each of these movement patterns in the next slides, and it's going to make really good sense to you. Here we go. So standing more. Standing is something we can incorporate a little easier, because we're going to see in some of these slides how standing can be brought back into our lives. And really, standing alone has benefits. Who would have thunk, right? In our modules we did on rest, I was discussing how people who slept 8 hours a night versus people who slept only 5 to 5.5 hours, the difference of how the body burned fat. And it was interesting that when people stayed up through the night, instead of burning more calories, the body went into conserve mode. So they actually didn't burn more fat. They actually had more problems because the body was not wanting to expend any more energy. The body was trying to help them and conserve. So when we think of standing engages postural muscles that increase LPL, or lipoprotein lipase activity. This increases energy expenditure 2.5-fold when compared to sitting. Employees who stand while they work burn up to 75% more calories a day. Now notice that says stand while they work. That's not saying walking, moving, anything. They're just standing. So simply standing and engaging in light activity throughout the day burns as many calories as 3 intense spinning classes per week. This is more effective than intense exercise at undoing the harm from excessive sitting. Now remember, we were talking about sleeping longer, how sleeping longer will cause your body to burn more fat, and it causes your body to increase its energy and metabolism just by sleeping more. And now we're talking about standing. Doesn't this seem backwards? Because in our society today, everything is push, 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 get to the gym, and sometimes we're now starting to find out that this doesn't always, it's kind of counterproductive, which the way our metabolism actually works. So frequent breaks from sitting lead to lower waist circumference, lower BMI, lower triglycerides, and more stable blood sugar. You can reduce sitting time by using a standing desk at work, taking standing breaks for at least 2 minutes every 30 to 45 minutes, and brief walking or light movement every hour, and standing up at long meetings. So how can you do that? Well, because of the advent of all these, we have phones, we can do all these things. We can actually set a timer on our cell phone that will actually tell us every 30 to 45 minutes that we need to stand up, and you can just put a timer on. That's one way of doing it. Another way, now here's a guy at a desk, he's standing up. So he's working all day and he's doing most of his work standing. You can see the difference. The body is standing up. You're not in a bent. Your shoulders are back. You see how he's standing. Then I wanted to bring out these. This is a Fitbit, I think. You could use a Fitbit, or you could use an Apple Watch, or any of these little things you can wear. They will actually beep you and remind you every so many minutes that it's time to stand. And I think this is really valuable. I try to tell a lot of my clients to get these if you like this type of thing. Otherwise, you could just, if you don't want to wear something on your body because of the EMF situation, you can just set a timer on your phone or use Alexa or whatever you've got. Even use an old-fashioned, alarm clock. You set a timer, you put it to the side, and every 45 minutes you get up and you stand. This is a brilliant way of doing business. We all need to remind ourselves, even if you're binge watching Netflix, try to get up, walk around, right? So what would be some goals we could do about standing? So let's look at this. You want to stand for about half of your day. I know that seems crazy a lot, but if you're incorporating standing up every 30 to 45 minutes, it's possible. So you can, sort of break into this gently. You don't have to do this all in one day. You can start slower. So the first thing would be to use a standing desk at work. If you just tend to even get on your computer a lot at home, you also could incorporate a standing desk at home. What I did on Amazon was I bought it wasn't actually a standing desk because they were all $100 or more. I bought something that my computer actually was on, and I could higher it or lower it. And so I just set that thing on my desk. The desk I already had that I sit at, I bought this thing on Amazon, and it sits on your desk, and then you just increase the height. And I think it only cost me something like $30, $35. So I just increased the height on that. Anytime I wanted to stand, it was very easy. And then I could stand. So use a standing desk at work, or you could even build it. I mean, you don't even have to order anything, right? Take standing breaks. Stand up for at least 2 minutes every 30 to 45 minutes. Even short breaks like this can make a big difference, and it relieves eye strain. You get away from the computer or the TV. So then the next one, try setting an alarm on your phone each time you come back from a break and sit down again. So you're going to be getting up every 30 to 45 minutes for 2 to 3 minutes. So then the next one is taking a brief walk or do some light stretching. Even just playing with your dog, get out of the room. Standing up at long meetings, you just tell them you got a bad back and you got to stand up. That works, right? Okay, here's a picture of a girl at work, and she's got a treadmill underneath her desk, which is kind of cool. This is a way to incorporate exercise when we don't know how we can do it. She's walking, but she's able to do her work there. I think that's pretty cool right there. Okay, so the second one, what are we calling this? We're calling it swap. So the first one was stand. We just talked about standing, right? The second one is the W, and the W is walking. So the benefits of walking. Studies of our ancestors, which would be hunter-gatherer populations, have shown that they were highly active and average around 10,000 steps or 5 miles a day. These 10,000 steps are punctuated by frequent bouts of more intense physical activity. Changes in lifestyle, communication, technology, and food access have meant that the average American adult today only gets between 5,900 or 6,900 steps per day. Light movement throughout the day has been shown to be more effective for promoting good health than only doing high intensity. So what I did anyway as a younger person, and I trained a lot, and I used to do professional sports, was my time working out was always high intensity exercise. I did not realize how beneficial walking, standing, and basic movement of working outside around your house, gardening, etc., how much benefit this really was. So the typical goal that you'd want with walking would be to aim for about 10,000 steps or 5 miles of movement per day. If you wear a tracker on your arm, or you do another way of, they will actually track your steps and tell you how many steps you're doing. And wearing a step tracker. I do know on an iPhone, you can also use the health app, and it will track how many steps you do in a day just through your phone. You don't have to wear something on your body again. Anyway, this is a good way of doing it. And so I've got some benefits here. When you watch this video, you can stop the video and look at what the benefits of walking 30 minutes a day might be. And let's say you only did this 3 days a week. I mean, this is a good time of year right now to get outside. And you can just see here, there's 20 benefits, amazing benefits from walking. It's just the simplest thing to me. Okay, and here we have a picture of people walking. Or if you walk with friends, it might be a little easier for you, right? Because you're with others. Some people don't like walking alone. So what would be goals for walking? Okay, so here would be a goal. You want to get that 10,000 steps a day. So you could take walking meetings. If you have a meeting scheduled with somebody in your office, why not suggest taking a walk while you do it? That could be beneficial. Number 2, use the stairs whenever possible. You might want to take the elevator if you work on the 50th floor, but you really need to take it if you work on the 3rd floor, right? Here's this girl. She's got her coffee. She's walking, right? Brilliant. So another one, walk or bicycle to work. Get creative. If you live too far away to walk or ride exclusively, consider driving part of the way and walking or cycling for the remainder, right? Do your own chores. Rather than outsourcing everything, do it yourself. So here's some pictures of that. Here's a lady, and she's out there doing her gardening. I'm trying to do all my own gardening as well, get those muscles working, right? So you also could get a dog. Dogs need to be exercised, right? Choose a hobby, ballroom dancing, bowling, cooking. All of this is especially great to pick a hobby that gets you outdoors, like bird watching, gardening, photography, snorkeling, any of these things. Work at a treadmill desk. We showed that picture of that girl. So all these ideas for walking. And then the next video here, the next module, we're going to go into what some goals could be for walking. And we're going to actually talk about this a little more. And then we're going to get into the next on the acronym, which is, remember, it's SWAP. So it's stand, walk, and then P is going to be for pushing. And we're going to talk about that in the next video. So you guys hang with me and go over here to module, I guess that's going to be module number 10, I believe. See you there.